Welcome back to All Eyes on Me podcast. I'm Divinity, your host, and today we have a very special guest. This is actually my modeling agent, Natalie.
Hi.
She's not used to being on camera, guys.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for having me. My name is Natalie Pappas. I'm the owner of the Driven Agency, boutique modeling and talent agency here in Los Angeles.
Yes, you are, bitch.
Yes, I am. Sometimes it sounds surreal saying that, but I'm like, wait, yeah, I do have an agency. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, say it again.
I am the owner of the Driven Agency in Los Angeles.
There it is. How long have you been around?
Well, we started in 2019. Lovely times right before the pandemic. And we survived. And here we are 4 years later, going strong. And I couldn't be just more grateful and happy and humble that we have just such an amazing team like all around us, from the talent that we represent to the clients that we work with to the casting directors that we work with to models such as yourself. And
even though I never get booked for anything.
That's not true. We could get into it, but
oh, we're getting into it.
It's a process. And anyway, yeah, I'm really grateful to have the business and just to learn. I mean, I feel like every day is a new learning experience for me, even now 4 years in and doing this 13 years now. So,
yeah. So I want us to tell the story of how we met initially, because I just think that's a really cool story. And I kind of think that it does emulate who you are as a human. So I was new to LA and I was looking for a modeling agency, and I found Aston Models. Mm-hmm. And I was like not confident that I was going to get signed, and I was just kind of taking a shot in the dark. And I met Natalie, and she was like instantly my sister, for lack of a better way to put it. And I was told when I was moving to LA, don't have your hopes up. You're not going to get signed. You've got a lot of tattoos. You've been trying to model for, your whole life, and you've been in and out of Wilhelmina. You've been in and out of Ford Models, like all these other modeling agencies that when I was with them, there was always things that I needed to work on. There was always things that I needed to change. And so then I was like, fuck it. And I got fully covered in tattoos, moved to LA. And then I was like, okay, now I still want to model, but how do I do that? And so when I found you, I was like, wow, she could actually give me an opportunity that no one else has.
Yeah, so I feel like that was something that kind of set me apart from my previous agency. Was I always looked for something unique and someone different. And I guess what I love the most about this business is getting to know people and knowing their journey, knowing their story. And when you came to me, I loved how you differentiated yourself, set yourself apart. And I love the tattoos, and I loved your energy, and just the fact that you were a badass and what you had gone through in your own personal journey with your body and your dancing career and everything that you'd gone through, and how you wanted to give this a try. And I really believed in you, and I still do, but I really believed in you then. And I was like, this is something different. And one of the things I love about being an agent, and when I sit up at night and I can't sleep and I scroll through and I look at, the creatives that are now taking over the internet, and I just read a lot. And one of the things that I look for is just being authentically yourself. And mm-hmm. You were always that person. And I was just so drawn to that. And so, yeah, I wanted to take that chance on you. And I always know that I find the best talent when I can visualize them mm-hmm. in roles, when I don't just think, oh yeah, I can help them in their career, but when I can actually see what they can do, or what they would model for, or how they would, show themselves and reveal themselves here in LA. And I could do that with you.
That's what I went home to my dad. I remember like 2 months after you signed me, I went home to Denver, visited my dad, and we were at dinner, and I was like, I don't think if Natalie wasn't working for this modeling agency that I would have been signed, like at all, because you genuinely have such a different outlook and approach to the modeling world. That's a big reason why I wanted you to be on All Eyes on Me. It's not because you own a modeling agency. It's because your heart and your passion and the way that you treat your models, the way that you approach your business is so different than LA, mm-hmm. but you're in LA. And so I wanted to kind of highlight the fact that there are agencies like you out here. And I don't think a lot of people like myself can even fathom that. So to know that there is somebody like you in the industry that actually does take risks on humans and actually accepts people for who they are and not just sees them as hangers, which I think you and I have talked about that being a thing.
Totally. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I want to treat everyone as if they're my friend, as if I want to go out and have coffee with them, which we do. You know, like I love feeling like you're a little sister to me. You know, the more I get to know someone, the more I can help promote them. And I do like taking risks and I do like taking chances. At the end of the day, we're all humans. We're just humans in this crazy world, right? So maybe I'm not a cookie cutter, old school version of an agency. But I like that. I like that I look for something different. And I like taking chances that other agencies wouldn't take. And maybe I'm not, you know, mainstream, but that's okay.
Which is funny because you actually are, because I can't tell you guys how many agencies turned me away because of my tattoos, but I am mainstream, technically speaking. Because like these days we like love tattoos.
Yeah.
We've got tattoos everywhere, but everybody would probably turn me away other than you.
I just think it was cool that I was starting to look at the scene and see that things were changing, you know, and it wasn't just a certain blonde 5'9", certain sizes. It was like, that's not what the definition of beauty was. And that's, you know, what I wanted to do when I created Driven was change the definition of beauty and continue to change it. What I love the most, I think, of being an owner now of this business is I get to meet the coolest people and hear their stories. And I'm in the process of right now signing a trans man. And just to hear his journey and where he's come from to where he is now, it's inspiring. It's inspiring to me. So that's what I love about this business the most is meeting interesting, unique people, hearing their journey and giving them a chance because everyone deserves a chance.
I think that's a good leeway into hearing your story. Because
Okay.
this podcast episode is about you, bitch.
Okay. Okay.
And you are such a superstar.
Oh, wow.
And you never talk about yourself. So
Yeah, it's so funny. When you rep 100 people, it's like you spend so much time dedicating to them that you kind of, in a way, sort of don't necessarily, you know, focus on yourself.
yeah, you're behind the scenes.
Yeah. And so in my previous life, I was in front of the camera, which is probably why I hate it so much. And
What do you mean in your previous life? Like when you were younger?
Yeah, when I was younger, I started out, I moved here at 20 years old to Los Angeles. And I was scouted in Venice Beach. And that's kind of how I started my career. I did some lifestyle print modeling and got really deep into acting, went to conservatory-based school in Beverly Hills.
Wow.
The Beverly Hills Playhouse, it was a great school. It really just kind of just changed my life in the sense of the networking and the training. And some of my best friends are still from that school to this day. I went to film festivals with that school. I did movies with that school. It was amazing.
Wow.
And that was my life. I mean, for 8-9 years, I wanted to be an actress and I wanted to be in front of the camera. But every time a film that I did came out, I would sit in the very last row of the movie theater. And when I came on the big screen, I would like literally sink down on my seat and I'd have tears streaming down my face. And everyone would be like, that was like such an amazing scene. And I could not watch myself. I could not watch myself on camera. I don't really know why, because I grew up like loving to entertain, loving to dance, loving to put on, like I would put all my stuffed animals in the living room, on the couch, all over and dance for them and put shows on. Like I was that entertaining kid. Like I loved it. But for some reason, as I got older, I could not stand to watch myself on the screen, no matter how well I did or how other people told me, you know, you do.
So you loved it, but you just didn't want to watch it back.
I loved being in it. I loved the moments of connecting in the scene and working with another actor, but I didn't want to watch myself. I couldn't do it. And so I got to this like crossroads where I thought, okay, what am I going to do? You know, I've always had the business sense. You know, I went to Syracuse University. I had a business degree. I love to entertain, but I was like, I can't do this. So that's how the whole journey started.
Yeah.
I got asked if I wanted to kind of build an agency. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can take everything I've learned and basically transplant that into starting this division.
Wow.
And then be behind the camera.
So did you have a moment where you just said, okay, fuck it. I don't want to be in front of the camera anymore. I want to be behind it? Like, was there anything that happened that kind of broke
no.
that? Because I feel like for me, I'm a performer, and I don't know. It would have to take something huge happening for me to step away from the stage and just do BTS.
I don't think there was something huge other than the pressure of, I think, my family being like, you have a degree, you're getting older, how are you going to support yourself? Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck? You know,
Yeah.
you book something and then you don't book something for 6 months. And it was me kind of making that decision of like, well, you do have that business sense and you love working with people. So maybe you should pursue this instead.
Yeah.
And that was how I think I really got into it. I just had this amazing opportunity come across my desk. I was taking care of my mother. My mom had a massive stroke when I was 29 years old, which changed and rocked my whole life as an only child, as you know.
Yeah.
Taking
I
care of
know.
your parents, yeah.
Yeah.
And it all falls on you. You know, it's hard.
Sure does.
And so my mom had a massive stroke when I was 29, and my whole world changed. I mean, everything I thought I was going to do and wanted to do was now uprooted, and I had to leave California for 3 years. You know, take care of her, just like rearrange her life, get her out of work, get her on disability, take care of our house, take care of our pool. I didn't know how to take care of our pool.
Wow.
You know, all these things, put her in rehab, put her in with doctor's appointments, neurologists, everything. And so I eventually decided to move her to a condo that I had owned in Florida that was more conducive for her to do her rehab with like one level.
Wow.
Because in New Jersey, where we are from, all the homes are split level. You can't navigate being disabled in that kind of home. And it was in that hell, as I would call it, because, you know, watching your mother go through this and not being, quote unquote, your mother anymore, being right side paralyzed, being 29 years old, trying to take care of her, plus trying to live your own life. I was approached to start this talent agency remotely from there. And that was like this light bulb moment of like, wow, I still can have a life and I can still use my entertainment background, you know, from afar until I can get back to California. And so that's how it all kind of started.
Where did you say you're from?
So I'm from New Jersey, originally. Yeah. And
Okay.
then we did my mom's rehab in Florida where we owned a condo.
Got it.
And it was there in Florida that an industry colleague reached out to me and said, hey, I know you have the business sense. I know you would be great at this. Do you want to help me start a talent division?
Wow. So how old were you when you started the talent division?
So at that time, I was 29.
At the same time as your mom having a stroke.
Yeah, I was
Wow.
scouting people on Skype.
Oh my God, your anxiety
When everyone was
must have
using
been through the
Skype.
roof.
Yeah, I mean, also having major anxiety in my life, you know, just being an anxiety sufferer in general, it was really hard. I mean, because my mom took a lot of work, and then to also try to scout and find and develop talent from afar. But you know what? I feel like I wouldn't trade it for anything because it kind of grounded me into who I am as a business owner and the discipline that it takes and the dedication that it takes. And I'd spend all day taking my mom to doctor's appointments, rehab appointments, making sure her pills were organized, doing everything I needed to do, getting her aides to come in and out, and the training and the occupational therapy and the physical therapy. And then I would spend the evening hours on Skype meeting with talent because, you know, being 3 hours ahead of time, I still had,
Yeah.
you know, the 3-hour advantage of being to Los Angeles and then meeting people from there and just helping grow this business.
Wow. So what was your first job in LA when you got here?
So then once I got my mom into a permanent setting, I came back to LA and I worked for the agency that I started. So Aston Models and Talent, I started the talent division. And
That was your full-time job?
Yeah. So I
Wow.
went from doing the part-time work in Florida to then just being hired on full-time.
How was that?
It was great. It was great. It was, you know, intense. My boss was very intense. And I was so green to behind the scenes at that point. And I felt like I was learning mostly from observation, not necessarily from training, which can be very difficult when you're like not being properly trained.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't the nicest, to be honest. He was kind of like an old school agency owner. I think, you know, that the old expression goes, he means well, but he didn't always come across that way. So that was like, that taught me a lot. I think that taught me a lot about what I wanted to do when I started my own business, which at the time I had no idea that would be my journey. But I can see now how much it helped me because I learned a lot from the way he treated me. I worked there for almost 8 years.
I know that you mentioned that it was a great experience overall, but did you experience anything like in the industry that women talk about being a thing?
Absolutely.
I think you and I both know what I mean by that.
Are you talking about like harassment? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, I could name so many examples, but yeah, I mean, we would be, as an agency, invited to certain parties of certain individuals in LA only because they were hoping to take the girls and sleep with them, and we would have never been invited to those circles if it wasn't for that. There was one time, this is an interesting story, as you know, because of the way I am with you, I've always kind of been like a big sister or mama bear to the people that I represent.
Yeah.
Especially female models who, you know, obviously it's a vulnerability here. And so there was a casting for lingerie. And gosh, I'll never forget this. And so we had maybe 20 models that went to the casting. And we just happened to have one of the models assisting us in the office. And so she comes back from the casting. She's like, it went so well. They love me. They took photos. I was like, okay, well, what did you do? She's like, well, we stood there in lingerie. I'm like, wait, in the brand's lingerie? She's like, no, just in lingerie. I'm like meaning what you were wearing under your clothes? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And she's like, yeah, then we held up a sign with our name and our height on it. And I was like, okay. And they took some photos, and then they told us, you know, we went in individually behind these curtains. I'm like, okay, this is weird. And she's like, yeah. And then they told us to come back on Friday to the rooftop of the Waldorf in Beverly Hills for the callback. I was like, wait, what? So I checked my email. I'm like, okay, am I missing something? I haven't gotten any callbacks.
Right.
No one's emailed me. No one from the brand has emailed me. And I automatically call up like the casting director. And he's like, what are you talking about, a callback? I didn't send any callbacks out. And I'm like, what?
Oh my God.
So then I call the brand, and they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Long story short, not going to name names, but I uncovered an underground sex trafficking operation where they were going to try to target agency models to try to find recruitment. And what they basically do, and this is very common, and LA is one of the most common places for this, sadly, is they take all the photos, they put you on the dark web. Then men go into the dark web and basically bid on who they like.
I have chills.
And then
I have chills.
Literally, you would show up to the Waldorf, right, that Friday night, and those men would most likely try to proposition you into something more.
Wow.
Again, there's different variations of how that could go, but that was a very key moment in my career as an agent that I think kind of hit home for me, because if you say something, you could be killed. Yeah. This is like no joke here in LA. This is a big, big, big operation here. Long story short, I ended up finding out who was running this casting. And I told him, look, I can't control what these girls do when they're not under the agency roof. I can't control the lifestyle that they choose, but you're not going to ever fucking, sorry to curse. Can I curse?
Yes, you can fucking curse. Fuck.
You're not ever going to fucking recruit agency models on my watch. So
insane.
Yeah, I went off.
Insane.
I took that risk and went off and was like, I have to say how I feel. And that story just stuck with me, I think, for life, because that really is, I think, a testament of who I am as an agent and an owner, and like how much I really truly care about who I represent.
Oh, I don't know why I'm starting to cry. Damn. You're like such a good human in the modeling world, Natalie. You're so needed. You're like so needed. I wish everybody was like you, truly. Seriously. I don't think we have enough people in the industry that fucking care, especially about women. Like, it's insane. I have had so many photo shoots where I have felt that eye on me while I'm changing. And like, you're a woman, you know, when people are watching you change, you know, and it's like, you don't want to say anything because you're here to do a job.
Right. And you don't know what line you can cross and what you can't. And I mean, sadly, I can't always protect everyone in every scenario, but one of the things that I've really tried to make sure everyone knows is if something doesn't feel right, if it seems uncomfortable, please, in the middle of the shoot, text me. I don't care call me. I don't care what time it is. Just let me know what's going on. And I try to always follow up with everyone. I try to do my research. I try to know, but you can't protect against everything.
Yeah.
And I wish everyone had pure intentions, but unfortunately they don't always,
Well, I think that like models feel like they can't speak about anything that they experience on set, and this was something that I fell victim to. You know, even modeling for you, I felt like I couldn't bring things to your attention because I just didn't want to complain. I didn't want to create any drama. I remember there was that one. I shouldn't say that I never got booked, you guys, because I definitely got booked. I'm just like Natalie's worst model. I'm always saying, fuck you, Natalie. Don't give me any more auditions. And she's like, Divinity, you need to do this audition. It's for like $30,000. I'm like, I don't want to do it. And then I do it and then I don't get it. And then I blame her.
It's a journey, not the destination. You know, you got to go the journey to the destination. You can't get there overnight. And I know you're what's the word? You want things to happen quickly.
I know.
But you also got lucky. This is the craziest pet peeve of this industry. It's like sometimes you get lucky right away really quick.
Yeah, it's true.
And you were a campaign model right away for a brand. And then like, you know, that momentum doesn't always sustain itself. And you changed your look a million times. As we all know, she changes her look every day. She changes her look every day. So what does that mean for an agent? You need new photos every day, right?
Natalie's like, where are your new headshots? I'm like, Natalie, I got them to you a month ago. She's like, your hair is different now.
Yeah. I'm like, nobody's going to want to see what you look like 3 months ago. They want to see what you look like now.
Yeah.
Not that you're not always beautiful, of course.
No, but it's so funny because if you guys actually see my old modeling photos, I was masculine when I got signed with her. And now I'm in my divine feminine.
I love that though. I mean, that's the journey of this. That's what I'm saying about this journey of this life. It's like we're all human. You know, we all have human experiences, and your journey is going to change.
Yeah,
it's going to change.
It was a badass year though. I mean, the first year that I was modeling for you, I got so many jobs, and one of the jobs that I got, which is going back to the original thing that I was going to say. I was going to this like hole in the wall studio downtown LA. You guys, when I fucking tell you that this place was full of trash, like it looked like somebody took dumpsters and just emptied them in the studio. And there was literal trash all over, like right next to where we were filming with all the setup. There's these like professional cameras, and then there's garbage. And then you're like going into the fucking bathroom to change, and the toilet looks like homeless people have been using it for years and no one else. And it's like, it's just disgusting. It was disgusting. And I could not believe that this was Los Angeles. But at the same time, you live here enough and you're like, oh no, that is LA.
There's definitely pockets. A lot more than there should be.
And I was like, this is fine. And I was like changing and just like stepping around trash. And I was just like, wow, what is happening? And I didn't even tell you like right away, but then I was finally like, okay, I need to tell Natalie about this. And Natalie was appalled. Like you had no idea.
I don't think I would have ever agreed to that job if I had known the circumstances. And I swear that there's, like I said, like we are a broker, right? We don't always know what is happening. All we can do is try to bring two parties together to create a product that is going to inspire and help others. But we don't always know that each party, you know, what the circumstances are getting to that end result. So if I had known that you were going to be like changing in trash and like experiencing a day under the train tracks, I definitely would not have agreed to that.
What's the hardest part about you running your business on a personal level? Because you're a single owner, right? You don't have a business partner?
No, I'm a single owner.
Okay.
Gosh, there's so many challenges. I think it's there's so many different things. I would say trying to stay current, trying to allow myself to also have a life. I I have an almost 2-year-old, and she is the love of my life. And I feel guilty because I'm a workaholic. And so, and she's at this adorable stage where she just wants mommy, 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 but also is like learning about life. And it's just such an amazing stage to watch her learn about new things and just be so excited and kind of relive your own childhood, right? So I feel guilty because I work so much, and I kind of don't know when to turn it off or when to stop and just be like, okay, I'm going to reserve this time to spend with her. I've been trying to really do that with the weekend time, but in this industry, you don't always, it's not a 9 to 5. You don't get to clock in and out. It's the demand. It's when the industry needs you. So I guess that's one thing that's frustrating is I need to try to like compartmentalize a little bit better and try to save those special moments a little bit more. And, you know, as a business owner, you just want to continue to grow and reinvent yourself and, like I said, stay current and sort of feel like you're making an impact. And sometimes you can be your own worst critic. I'm sure you've gone through this as well. Like,
I'm currently going through it.
Yeah, like how do you define yourself? And as you change, you know, how do you put that into your business? And so that's something that I'm kind of currently going through right now. Trying to kind of stay current, reinvent myself, continue with my branding. What am I going to do? What are my next steps? How do I grow? All those things.
I feel that because, like, it's funny, the pandemic really did change.
Oh, it changed so much.
People and the way that they approach things. I feel like for me, I had a business that you know about starting to rise during the pandemic as well. And I was going to release this clothing line, and you know, my ex and I designed it together and we manifested it together. It was originally my idea one night when we were high.
Those are some of the best ideas.
Yeah, we just like smoked weed, and I was like, I should start a clothing line. And, you know, a lot of people would look at that and be like, oh, she's insane. But people are so aware of me at this point that they know that when I say things, I go through with it and I do it, even if it only lasts like a couple months. At least I did it. But I'm all about energy, and like, this clothing line was during a stage of my life where I was angry and healing. And I think that there is a certain part of your healing where you are allowed and so valid to go through this anger process, because it is part of the letting go. And I was overcoming things that I had actually had on my back when you and I met. You know, I felt them. It's like you can feel the trauma just weighing down on you. And at some point you're going to break, and you're going to have to decide whether, you know, you want to finally release it and heal, or if you just want to pick it back up, put it back on your back and keep going again. And the pandemic kind of gave me that opportunity to just, I don't know, create something out of it so that it would be a positive coming out of a negative, and baddie was manifested. And I remember reaching out to you and asking, you know, can you book me models? And it was like this whole thing. And it was so emulant of what I was experiencing in my head at the time. But then as I continued to heal, baddie no longer resonated with me because I was no longer angry.
Yeah.
And now I'm like at peace, and now I'm calm, and now I don't care. Like, I just don't care. If you hurt me, if you did anything to me, if I went through anything, if I've experienced any type of psychosis, like, which I did. It's like I've like made so much peace with so many different things that I'm just in this place of extreme gratitude and calmness now.
I was going to say, I've noticed that, like, just knowing your journey and knowing you for so many years now, I really sense this inner peace, this kind of tranquil state, which is nice to see with you. And so maybe you come up with something new. I mean, you are a creator in so many ways. So just because baddie's on a back burner, maybe it's there permanently, maybe it's not, you're going to have something new. Yeah. But I think that all these things that you do in your life are moments that build you into another moment, right? So that was a stage that you were in. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you're still not a baddie. It just means that your trajectory changed.
Yeah, I think that it's something also that comes with age, because I'm sure you can agree with this, like having a kid totally transformed your life.
Oh my gosh.
And you probably felt like such a workaholic, and you were like on this like fast track for so long, and now you are kind of forced to just chill out And she kind of gives you that. Like, you're forced to just be in the moment.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like I can no longer just be this full steam ahead, freight train. I'm taking a moment now to try to find the time to really appreciate this gift that God has given me, because I do believe it's a gift, and I believe that we're given these gifts in life. And like, there's nothing else that makes me happier than to see her wonderment, her awe, and to learn about this crazy world and the innocence that's there. It's like, we all want to preserve that innocence forever.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be so nice if we could preserve that innocence?
Is that hard, having a daughter, knowing that there are so many women in your field of work that experience things so much? And like, now that you're a mother, I'm sure you're not just thinking about what you used to experience as a kid, but now you're like looking at her.
Yeah, it's like I exactly, like I was just telling my husband, I was like, gosh, we're going to move out of LA, and like I'll just come back for work if I need to do meetings, but I want her to get to like a better neighborhood trajectory where, we walk down the street we do family walks every day. And we live in a nice part of Studio City. We do family walks with our dogs, and we have like, she's in her little car and we're rocking, and like some guy just dropped his crack pipe right in front of us.
Wow.
That never would have existed 3 years ago. You know?
Do you think LA's gotten way worse?
Oh, I do. I've been here now half my life, so 20 years, which is just shocking to say that out loud. But yeah, it's not the same. It's totally not the same. It's dirtier. It's harsher. I wish I could say nice things, but I don't feel like it's the same place that I had all these like crazy dreams and high hopes. I want to like protect her from these things now. And I hope that they can clean up the homelessness and clean up the way that the city has kind of presented itself in recent days. But we'll see. Hopefully they will.
What would you tell an aspiring model that wants to get signed and is moving here with the stars in their eyes the way that I did?
Yeah. I would say a couple things. Know your branding.
Yeah.
Know who you are. Know how you fit into this market.
What if they don't? What if they have no idea?
Then find an agency that's going to really guide you and show you your branding and help you to find it. And be true to yourself. At the end of the day, listen to your gut instinct. Literally just embrace who you are. That is the beauty. That is who you are. Come with a clear branding idea, or at least have ideas of who you think you are or what you want to do. One of the questions that I ask people when I meet with them, and very few have like answers that they've really thought of, is, who do you want to work for? What do you want to do?
Like what brands?
Yeah.
Like name off the brands that are your dream?
Yeah. And people are just like, oh, California fashion.
Victoria's Secret. Yeah. I want to be a fucking model for Victoria's Secret.
But it's like, have your vision.
Yeah.
And why you feel that way. And is it going to, you need to have your vision board basically.
Yeah.
And one of the other questions I ask everyone, which you can see if you go to our website, is, why are you driven? And no one can ever get that question nailed down. So it's like, we do a personality video, like, hi, my name is, I'm from, and I'm driven because. You should know why you're driven. You should know why you're here on this earth and what you're passionate about, I think sometimes people don't want to identify with who they are.
Well, we do have an industry that has been built
on false. Yeah.
Yeah. And women being told that they have to be a certain way, look a certain way, have certain body types.
And I'm here to tell you that you don't. I'm here to say that what I've created driven is to defy those odds and to like authentically have you be you. That is why I started this agency right there.
Yeah. Do you think that there are other agencies like that?
Absolutely.
In LA?
I do. I really do. I think there's a lot of agencies that have changed, maybe not because they wanted to, but
they're kind of forced. Probably because of people like you that kind of created ripple effects.
I don't know. But I'd like to hope that the game is changing. But if not, I'm there.
Yeah. Well, you guys, this has been, I don't know what I was trying to say just now. I just lost my thought. Well, I had one more thing that I wanted you to touch on. Being a mom and also running a business, if you could tap back into your younger self, I do this with like a lot of my podcast guests. If you could go back in time and talk to your younger self, what would you tell her?
That's such a good question. Gosh. I think Oh my gosh, I don't know. What would I tell myself? That it's okay to forgive yourself for not always having it all figured out. Forgive yourself for when life gets messy. Like today, I'll just give a small example. I could not find my car keys to the point where I was about to like have to cancel because I didn't know where my backup key was. And I thought Viana had hid them because she's done that before.
Yeah.
And I was just storming around the house, getting so frustrated because emails were not being sent out and I couldn't find my keys. And I like started feeling myself get emotional. And then I didn't want to like get mad at her, but then I was just like flustered and I was just like, why is this happening? And you know, the day wasn't going smoothly. This is just a small example. But then like for an hour, I couldn't find my keys. And it's just like, so all my keys are on there, my mailbox keys and my car keys and the house keys and everything. And like, I'm like, how am I going to get out of here? And I just get so flustered and frustrated. And then I was just like, okay, just take a breath. It doesn't always have to be perfect. It doesn't always have to be figured out. You know, you can be a bad mom on certain days. You can be a bad agency owner on certain days. Just take a deep breath and realize that it's all going to work out and it's going to be fine. And you don't have to be this perfect version. Your day doesn't have to be a certain way every day. And that was, I guess, what I wish I could have told my my younger self is like, you know, it's a learning process along the way. Allow yourself to learn. You don't always have to have it all the answers up front.
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say earlier. You don't always have to be a badass. Because I feel like when you think badass, you think, oh, this person's on it and they're bad and whatever.
Yeah.
Some days you can just be human and be messy.
You can cry. You can be human.
Yeah.
Like I should have just cried and been like, I don't know why my keys are making me cry right now, but I'm just going to let it out. You know, it's like, It's okay to be messy. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do with Driven. It's okay to be not a certain version of a model that you think is the industry standard. Be you.
Do you think that there are opportunities for everyone to be a model?
I do. I mean, model is a tricky word. I think there's opportunities for everyone to showcase their brand.
Do you think there's representation right now in the industry as much as there should be with all types of humans?
No, but I think it's starting to change.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. Yay. I want to see more paraplegics.
So something that I've been really loving seeing and also looking for as well, and we have signed, is differently abled models, which I think is so beautiful.
I love that.
Because sometimes it's not even something that has, it's just that's something that they were born with.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean that it's less beautiful.
I want that and I want tattoos. I feel like we've done really well with the body positive movement.
Yep.
I feel like now we're hopefully moving in towards the tattooed world more, the paraplegic world more. I don't know. Height.
I do. Height is no longer a factor. I don't feel like height's a factor at all. I think it's energy. I mean, I really think this business is all about energy. And what you put into it, you will receive. It's like I told you, you get frustrated. It's a long game.
Yeah.
Miracles do not happen overnight. You have to continue to reinvent yourself and try new things when they're not working. Like I have so many cool ideas for you, but that's for another whole conversation.
I want Victoria's Secret.
Well, I have really cool ideas of how we can get there.
Okay. If you guys see me on Victoria's Secret, just know it's because of Natalie.
Gosh, that would be a dream come true, honestly.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Seriously, it was like so great to actually have you on the podcast. And you're such an inspiration. And I look up to you so much as an older sister, but also as a woman in the industry that's fucking killing it and also protects women.
Thank you. I do the same. I sit up at night when I finally get a minute to catch up on social media and I listen to your rants and your stories. And I think, God, she's such a motivational speaker. I mean, people gravitate to you. They love to hear what you have to say. What did I tell you a million times? You need to be, this is such a great platform for you because you need to be speaking your voice and people are going to connect and understand because they're going to feel like they're going through that too.
Yeah. Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys want to see any more of Natalie, you should go check out her Instagram, The Driven Agency.
Yep, at
Instagram.
The Driven Agency. That's DRIVEN. Yep.
And then the website is
drivenagencyla.com.
perfect.
And if you're interested in submitting, there is a submission tab as well.
Awesome. I love you.
Love you.
Yes,
Proud
bitch.
of you.
For more of these episodes, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below, and I will see you guys next time. Love you guys.